from the age of 12 years old, when I started selling tomatoes, eggs, and even newspapers on the corner of a road, I've been selling items, all kinds of stuff from a very young age. I even used to sell my old toys that I would get for Christmas or my birthday. I'd resell them to whoever I could in any method I could. I would have yard sales every week and all kinds of stuff. I would even find whether it was someone who was cleaning out their attic or basement, I'd find other people's goods that I could sell on a regular basis. My point is, I've had an enjoyment and a love for connecting sellers and buyers and making money in between for many years, since I was about 12 years old. I've sold all kinds of products, some tangible, some intangible. I've sold so many different types of things, e-commerce to offline direct selling, network marketing, real estate, right? All kinds of stuff. And I've always loved the thrill of making a bunch of money, unlimited income potential. And that's a beautiful thing about sales. A lot of people have this weird philosophy towards what sales is. Some thoughts come into mind, maybe it does to you as well, where some people think, oh, it's like this pressurized car salesperson, or just someone who is constantly encouraging you to buy or convince you. I mean, I've been in some really weird situations with people who are trying to make a sale and they just really convince you, even though you're convinced you don't want something. And then they're pushing you to buy it, and you're like, no, I'm pretty sure I don't want this. And then they're trying to convince you all the reasons why you should get it. It's not very good. The selling process should be very simple, very easy. Both parties should be winning. It should be a win-win situation. So I've done this with, very low-priced items or very high-priced items, millions of dollars in property, or programs, or even, I remember the time I'll never forget the time I sold a bag of jelly beans to a gentleman. I was doing a yard sale, and I had I'm not sure I remember the color, but it was a bag of jelly beans. I think they were red. And so the man comes by and he's like, "Are these jelly beans?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Oh, I love jelly beans, but I don't like the red ones. Do you have," I think it was brown he wanted. And I said, "Well, but it's still jelly beans." He's like, "No, but I don't like red, I like brown." So I said, "Well, if you come by next week, I'll get you the jelly beans that you want." Next Saturday, the gentleman shows up, I have the brown jelly beans, he buys it, right? So sometimes it's not the type of product, but maybe it's a color, it's what they're interested in, the taste, whatever it may be. So that's something very important in sales that you have to know. You have to align the product or service with what the client's needs are, and it has to fulfill the problem that they have, right? So listen, all that being said, I'm sharing with you another video from the vault, from an event I did many years ago, and we talked about selling. Now, I talk about selling, the psychology of it, interactions, and also relating to real estate. But again, some of these principles are timeless, they're classic, they are proven. So maybe there's some there that you can apply into your own life. And if you have any sales challenges or questions, just throw it in the comments and let's see what we can do to help you out.
So selling is all about giving. Now, I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. I got 30 minutes on the clock, so take fast notes. First, you must give. Thank you, Fred. And everybody else is going to start implementing that. So what is persuasion? Persuasion is the process of having your customer clearly associate their most desired feelings or states to your product or service. That's persuasion. It's the process of having your customer clearly associate their desired feelings or states to your product or service. See, everything we do is for a reason. Sorry, going too fast? Sorry. Okay. Everything we do is for a reason. The primary motivating factor behind all human behavior is the desire to avoid pain and to increase pleasure. Every time we make a buying decision, it's to avoid pain and bring pleasure into our lives. People associate the action of buying with pleasure, with tremendous pleasure. And the action of not buying creates pain. How many people are currently selling stuff online right now? Anybody? Whether it's real estate, got some people in the room, great. So your customers are coming to you for a reason to solve what? Pain, solve a problem. They have a need that they need to fulfill. And they're looking to you to provide that solution for them. See, people will do more to avoid pain. So pain can be in the form of humiliation, frustration, can be physical pain, and inconvenience. But not everybody's pain is the same. Everybody has different pains. The most important thing you need to know is that you need to identify what your customer looks like. So if you are selling real estate, you need to know exactly what your customer, what time maybe they get up in the morning, what type of income do they have per year. You have to identify maybe the type of area of the market they're living in currently. Maybe you're honing in on the target market with a certain state. So who here knows what their customer looks like? Who's selling stuff online? Barbie?
We sell all kinds of stuff, so we have all kinds of different customers.
Okay. Anybody know what their customer looks like? It can look like anybody? Okay. Okay, who here sells a product or service? Okay, Patrick, what does your customer look like?
Typically between 30 and 40 years old. Average income 75 to 125,000. Married.
Kids?
Typically with kids.
Typically with kids.
A lot of times it's the mortgage end of the business, it's a first-time buyer.
Okay, great. Is that a good example?
Yeah.
Awesome. So somebody else. What does your customer look like?
I rent apartments.
Okay.
Average customer is either single or younger couple. Age range for the singles can be from 18 to at least 47.
Okay.
And they're making about $300 to $400 a week.
Good. It's pretty good. No, here's the thing. If you have a product or service to sell, you have to identify the market first. This is like not step number one. First it's mindset. This is like step number two. You have to identify exactly what your market is first before you even create the product or service. Because if you can't just go out there and say, oh, this is for everybody. No, it's not. Not everybody wants what you have. So you have to identify clearly what your customer looks like. You stated it very clearly. You knew exactly the income, the age group. Is it more male? Is it more female? This way, when you create a marketing piece in your business, whether it's real estate, an online business, whatever it may be, you know exactly the customer you're looking for. You know exactly how they feel. Does this make sense? Great. See, people need lots of wants, which is about hurts. People buy to avoid pain to buy. See, when you're sitting with someone, you're sitting with your client, they obviously have a need that you need to fulfill. And there's a pain there that they're looking to fulfill. Would you agree with me, Patrick? Absolutely. They're looking for a solution. So you have to connect with them. You have to connect and understand why you're coming to them or they're coming to you is to fulfill that pain, to avoid that pain, to fulfill and get pleasure. People buy for emotional reasons and justify it with logical reasons. How many times do we see that happening, right? All the time. It's called credit card debt. People buy things all the time based on emotion, never logic. No buying decision is logical. It's always emotional. So keep that in mind when you're coming out with your products and services. It's always emotional. It's never logical. Take logic out of it. Okay, so we can control how people think and how they control their state by the questions we ask. Do you have the right questions already to ask your client? If you know what they look like and you can identify what they need, you've got to have a list of questions ready to ask them. It's very important that you have that list of questions, because then you know, you pretty much after a while you can understand you know what they're going to say. And then you know how to make the sale. You're going to want to dig more into their wants. You're going to ask them, what's holding you back? What's holding you back from getting started? What is it going to be like if you don't take action? So you've identified the customer, you know what they want, they're coming to you for a product or service that you have, but maybe they're hesitant. Does this happen to you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're stuck on something, they don't know why, but yet they want to buy. But it's called overcoming objections. Overcoming objections. And there's two leading questions right there is, what's holding you back? And what is it going to be like if you don't take action? Now that question right there, what is it going to be like if you don't take action? What do you think that brings out in that question? Pain, exactly. You're bringing out pain. It's the fear of loss. If a person does not buy, it's because they associate more pain to buying than not buying. If your customer is not buying, it's because they associate more pain to buying than not buying. Anybody have an example that they can think of? Come on.
Well, people were saying they were afraid to make their first deal because they didn't know what the outcome was going to be. So it was scarier to buy than not to buy.
That's right. Exactly. Great point. There was fear that was stopping them from taking action, so there was more pain in buying in that moment. So there wasn't enough what? Close, but there wasn't enough hurt that was pulled out of that customer, that prospect. That person or that customer, that company didn't get enough hurt out of that person. Didn't get them the reason to buy. Because you gotta remember, when we make buying decisions, we buy out of the motivation for pleasure to avoid that pain. Every time. Whether it's for food, drink, car, gasoline, as we were talking about yesterday, they're buying because they don't want to feel like the pain of them not having it. They want to, even ourselves, when you look at when you buy stuff, it's what is it going to be like if you don't have it? And you can, ladies or guys who likes to go shopping, right? Have you ever bought a shirt or a tie or something that maybe you didn't really need, but you just went because you felt like you should get it? Happens all the time. Because you're buying to fulfill a pain or a need, even though it's not logical. Does this make sense? Any questions so far? Okay. If a person does buy, then they associate more pleasure to buying than not buying. See, buying needs pleasure and not buying. Oh, I did that wrong. That's my bad. All right, in order to get someone to do anything, you have to get them to the point they are dissatisfied. So, Pat, tell me a little about one of your dissatisfied customers. Not that you've done them dissatisfied, but before they come to you, they're dissatisfied with what in their life? That's fine. That's great.
It may be some of my investor clients that they can't figure out a way to fund their deal.
Okay. So what's a great question you'd ask your client?
What options have you tried before? What was it that didn't work?
Mm-hmm. One thing you want to do is you want to have a list of questions already ready to ask. You want to have those questions ready, because if you can identify that there's an investor that's dissatisfied with the current situation they're in, you got to come up with it. You got to have a list of questions ready. How many people here have an elevator pitch, the 30-second intro pitch down? Other than Sean and Dave. Nobody? Okay, I need a volunteer.
I change people's lives by building communities.
My name's Dave. I'm a full-time real estate investor.
Thanks, guys.
welcome.
I need a volunteer, and I'm going to ask this time.
Do you want to change your life?
You know what?
Jim.
Let's go somebody else.
Jim.
Yeah.
Jim?
I just volunteered you.
What's that?
I just volunteered you. Go help Nathan.
Where's Matt?
Jim? Do you want to volunteer?
Sure.
Okay, so,
Matt.
Just a 30-second.
Matt took off.
want to stand up and give it?
We have to get outside our comfort zones.
A little bit, yeah.
That's right.
You take the,
He took
take your
off.
belt off.
Take my belt off.
Take your belt off. You want to be outside of your comfort
My
zone.
pants will fall down and then you'll be happy.
That happened to me in security yesterday.
My name's Jim. I provide.
Hi, Jim. Okay, you want to do it like a real intro for everybody? Okay, cool, that's great, that's great. So, hi, Jim.
Where's the mic?
How you doing, Nathan?
Good, thank you.
Anything else? Hi, my name's Jim.
Hi, Jim. I'm Nathan.
How you doing, Nathan?
Good.
Yeah,
So what do you do?
Well, we provide solutions to real estate problems that people may run into.
Awesome. How long have you been doing that for?
A number of years.
Okay.
I'm terrible at this.
Hey, that's what it's all about. It's learning
That's
how to
all
do
right,
it.
buddy. You're supposed to be terrible at it. It's okay.
That's just what it's all about. All right, cool.
We've been doing it for about 10 years now. We've been able to help families out of all kinds of different situations that they run into with their properties.
Okay. Good.
Excellent.
And maybe that's all he'd get out of me, right? And maybe you feel like you're terrible at it, but change the mindset. Here's the thing: you have to have a 30-second interview, a 30-second window, your elevator pitch. You have to have it down. And I like the way Jim started it. But a lot of people, what they do is they say, "Hi, my name is Nathan, and I'm a realtor." Or, "Hi, I'm Nathan Amaral, and I am a speaker." See, you're not just a realtor, or a mortgage broker, or you fill in the blank. You have to be the one. You have to be the one that's going to solve their problem. You have to be the person that's going to change their life and fulfill their needs. But how can you do that if you don't know who your customer is? If you don't know who your customer is, then how are you going to present to them? So, who wants to be another volunteer? Very good. Awesome. All right. So, Isabel.
I'm Isabel Kelly.
Hi, I'm Nathan Amaral. Pleasure to meet you. Microphone. Thank you, Maria. I agree. Thank you.
I'm the realtor from Brockton that deal with a lot of short sale, and I would like to know how can I help you get one of that and move your situation and take you to the next level. Don't you want to be a landlord or don't you want to be a homeowner?
Okay. No.
Why not? What's holding you back?
I don't know. I'm just not interested in real estate.
Real estate is the best market now is now.
That's not what I heard on the news.
That's not true. Don't pay attention to those people because they just fill you with the things, information that you don't need.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
Listen to you. Why should I listen to you?
Because I'm on a field, I'm on the ground, I'm here, I'm local, and I play with this all the time. I know what I'm telling you. I can give you the proof that you need to see. You live on a small apartment. Don't you need more space for your kids?
Okay, great. Let's stop right there. Tell me some things that you found in that scenario that you identified with.
You can tell that she comes to you with experience.
Okay.
She seems to very self-assured, knows what she's talking about. She's drawing you into possibilities, what she can offer you.
Okay. Anybody else pick up on anything?
She's making you think a little bit.
She's making me think a little bit? Okay. Let's give her a round of applause for that. Great. There were some key things she didn't do. Constructive criticism. She didn't ask me questions. She didn't know what I wanted. What if I didn't want to be in real estate? What if I wasn't interested? Or what if I didn't want to be a landlord? Maybe I have a bad experience with being a landlord. So here's the thing. The key to selling is ask questions. It's the 80-20 rule. It's 80% listening, 20% talking. Here's the process. First, you have to find a hurt. Then you have to disturb the hurt and give them a solution. You have to find the hurt first.
Finding the hurt, you're going to do that by the questions that you're asking and having them elicit the information about themselves.
Yep.
Now, you just said stir the hurt.
Mhm.
How would-
Elaborate on it?
Yeah.
Sure. Maria's question was disturb the hurt. How do you disturb the hurt? Here's a great way. So Isabel was asking me that I live in an apartment. Do I really like that? Maybe I just said in that response, you know, I really don't like, you know, I'm living in my apartment right now. It stinks. One powerful move that she can do is, oh, that really stinks. Really? Oh man, you live in an apartment? That's too bad. Now, oh, what did I do in that scenario? I identified and I mirrored that person. It's called mirroring. All I did was I reflected the same thing of how they feel right back to them. Two things happen at that moment. One, relatability, rapport, and trust. It's like if you go into a bar or a restaurant and you're just chatting it up with somebody, what are the first things you do? You try to find common ground, common interest. That's the first thing you try to do. You try to find common ground. Or even if you're networking, haven't you done this here this past weekend? Mm-hmm. You just try to find common ground. What are you doing? Oh, wholesaling, commercial, blah, blah. And as soon as you find somebody who's doing what you're doing, boom, there's a connection. And that's what it's all about, is making that connection. So when you're talking to your client and your customer, and you ask them these questions, you're looking for that common ground. You want to get them to trust you because, again, as we said yesterday, your customers will buy from the people that they trust. They're not going to just land on your website, or you're not going to just walk up to somebody and they're going to buy from you just on the first shot. It's a time frame. 80% of the time you need to be listening, 20% of the time you need to be selling. Questions control the process. Your questions will control the process. So here we go. Whenever you're selling, you want to know the why. The reason why they need a solution. The reason why they need to buy something. You need to identify that way. So the questions will give you that reason why they want it. So if I'm in the apartment example, if I am trying to get out of my apartment, why? Isabel needs to identify, why do I want that? And she has to find that reason. How does that make you feel? So Isabel could ask me, well, you live in an apartment? Yeah, well, how does it make you feel that you're trying to get out of it and you can't do it right now? Basically just reiterating the same thing. And I would naturally just say, well, state how I feel. Because remember, feelings are the key indicator to selling. People don't buy logically. They buy based on feelings. So keep that in mind. You want to identify exactly how they feel. And you can get that by asking questions. Next, what are you proud of? What are you proud of? Don't wonder how much they're going to buy from you. Don't wonder how much, in the back of your mind, if you go with the giving attitude, don't wonder how much they're going to buy from you or if they're going to do business with you. Go with them in mind first. You can also Think of how many referrals this person is going to refer me to. You can actually have that in the back of your mind. Like if you make a powerful connection, you can actually have that embedded in the back of your mind. Like, man, if I make the connection with this person, they're going to lead me to so many other people. You don't want to do that. You want to have in the back of your mind, how can I make this conversation fun and interesting? Okay, so state is what you're selling, not a product. You're selling a state. And when I say state, I don't mean the state of Massachusetts or any state that you're from. I mean the emotional state. That's what you're selling. You're selling a state that they're in or that they want to be in. You're selling a state that they want to have. So if someone's trying to live a certain lifestyle, or someone's trying to get out of debt, or someone's trying to refinance their property, or whatever it may be, whatever your product or service is, they're looking for a state. They're looking for a feeling that it's going to give them. Does this make sense? So you're going to want to use phrases and movements that will change your state into more of a positive state. So you personally, to influence and persuade your customer, are going to want to do that. You have to be sold on your products or services first. Congruent with them. See, and what we focus on, how we feel about it, affects what we do. So with your products and services, you have to be congruent. You have to know that this is the product that your customer needs when you're talking to them about it. It has to be the end-all be-all solution. All right. So to influence another person, you must impact and influence yourself first. You have to be 100% sold on you and your product or service before you even recommend it to somebody else. Because if you're not confident, if you're not if you're not the person that's going to provide a solution to them in your marketplace, then why would they go with you?
Right.
Put yourself in their shoes. If you were to come to yourself with no 30-second elevator pitch, would you do business with you? That's the question you have to ask yourself. If you weren't prepared, would you want to do business with someone who wasn't prepared? Not at all. Okay, you want to speak with certainty and confidence, and it gets you into that emotional state when you do that. So speak with certainty. We saw that with Bert St. Pierre. I mean, that was just powerful. He spoke with assurance and belief and certainty. You have to have that. Okay, so it's not what you say, it's actually how you say it. Don't worry about having all the right words to say, it's actually the how. Control how you feel, focus on the customer's wants. Don't focus on how you feel at the moment. If you put all your focus on your customer, you won't have time to think about how you feel. When you come up here and you're standing, you're giving the mic or you're speaking, it's not about you. Focus on the person. If you focus on the person, you forget how you feel. That's actually how you overcome the fear of public speaking. You totally forget about yourself. And you just focus on how that person feels at that moment. If you're going to make an impact on their life while you're talking to them. That's what you focus on. You don't focus on yourself. Because when you focus on yourself, you'll stutter and you make all these, you'll mental block, you'll forget things.
If I'd known that before, I don't know.
Now you know. Go, my son, and preach the gospel. All right, so therefore, learn to use questions, have an initial impact. And I know I'm kind of flying through this. I literally have 5 minutes left. But how to really give your customers their deepest needs. Let me just cut down here a little bit. Okay, so here are what are the barriers that limits people into taking action. You like this one? All right. So the most important person to influence is yourself. Be real. Be real with your customers. Be real with them. Don't be a phony. Don't be something you're not. Nothing in this world is moved without being sold, so be real. A leader is someone who influences and gets people to take action. We see this. Now, sometimes when you're selling, it's not always with money is involved. Sometimes you're selling a dream, an idea, a vision, right? Doesn't mean always there's going to be an exchange of money, but some of the greatest salespeople have been presidents, right? Famous thought leaders. These people are selling. They're selling you on a vision and an idea. Okay, so here's a great way. Let me just skim through this here. I'm really short on time. People buy to avoid pain. Keep that in mind. Your customer, you have to ask questions to find out what that pain is and what the hurt is. Okay, we're going to jump through this really quick. Here's the cool thing. Everyone's going to get the slides to this presentation, and that way you can have it and you can go through it. Okay? The difference between failure and success, you need to have a sense of urgency in your own life, and also when you ask your customers. You need to give them a sense of urgency. Like, what's holding you back? Get to the core. Okay. Then, if you master the art of belief, you'll get what you want. Find out more about the person and find out about their belief system. Sometimes people don't buy because they have a certain belief system. Maybe they believe that renting is better than owning. So if Isabel, and I'm just using you as an example in this scenario, so if she was to keep telling me that buying is good, you should have your own home, but maybe I have a negative experience towards it, but she didn't ask me that question or try to find out my needs or the reason why I don't believe buying a home is a good idea, she would have never gotten through me. It would have been a waste of time. Okay? The quality of your life depends on the quality of questions that you ask yourself. Customers must believe 100% that you have their best interest in mind. Sell that person how it will feel when they are buying your product and service, and how it will bring them pleasure almost instantly when they buy your product. Because when you buy a product or a service, even down to a cup of coffee, it's going to make you feel a certain way. You want to let them know how is it going to feel at that moment. Okay. Do I have like 3 more minutes to go over this 3
You
things?
know what? Here's the thing.
Okay.
You and I created these PowerPoints on 2 different topics, and they really are exactly the same thing. So I don't need to talk about a power of persuasion because it's selling and you're covering it.
Oh, really?
So take a little more time, enjoy yourself. Darwin will be up in about 10 minutes to wrap up the day.
Are you sure?
I'm absolutely sure.
Okay.
You're giving them everything that I was going to give anyway, so it's all good.
Okay. Okay. All right. So the 3 phases of selling. There's engaging. Here's the first phase. You got to prepare and do your homework. So before you approach someone, you have to be prepared. You have to have your 30-second elevator pitch. Make sure you know your customer and also know your product and service. Then you're going to want to turn on your emotions. Turn your emotions on. Get passionate about what you do. Stacy's great at that. If you ever watch Stacy's videos on Facebook, she's got that going on. I mean, it's almost, the excitement is irresistible. You wonder what's going on. Make the contact and get the attention. Grab the attention. That's what you want to do. You make that contact, you want to grab their attention. Well, give me some examples of that would grab your attention. Maybe in a product or service that you bought. Give me an example.
Of something like we're going to buy.
Yeah, maybe something that you bought, or maybe an attention grabber.
Well, all right, for me personally,
Yeah.
it's I'm rebuilding my race engine, so
Okay.
it's bigger pistons,
Bigger pistons.
faster, more power.
So if you saw an advertisement, someone approached you that said, "Hey, Jim, do you want bigger pistons?" Or with some, I knew that was gonna be a laugh. That was gonna.
I want bigger pistons, Nathan!
Hey,
Yes!
Ticket for Dave.
Why do you want bigger pistons?
Thank you. All right, cool.
So an attention grabber would be an ad that would give you that what you want. So you have to have those attention grabbers and know what your customer wants and give them that attention that they're looking for. So connect and become their best friend. On your way, I think we had the consensus yesterday, 5 to 7 touches. On your way to the 5 or 7 touches, could be 5 phone calls, 5 emails, 7 phone calls, 7 emails. Become their best friend in the process. Get to know their wants and needs, get to know if they have family, get to know a little bit about them, get to know their background. Become personable. and create the interest. Okay, the second phase is enrolling. You're going to want to probe for problems and magnify the hurt. You're going to probe for problems and magnify the hurt. So you're going to find and identify the problems that are taking place in their life and magnify that. Again, there's a few different ways you can do that. You can model them, repeat back to them exactly what they told you when they told you their problem. It's called empathy. You want to have empathy with your customers. Second, find the deepest needs that aren't being met. So, has anybody ever, or how about yourself? Have you ever bought a product for a long period of time, but then you switch to another product?
Yep.
Any reasons why?
My hair got greasy.
Better, your hair got greasy. What was that, Barbie?
Easier.
Easier? Absolutely. So don't think for a second that someone, if they already have a product or service that's similar to yours, that they wouldn't switch over. Okay? Keep that in mind. Because sometimes, here's a great line you want to use. So you're selling that product or service, whatever it may be, but they have a similar product or service. You ask them, great, how's that working out for you? They give you a response. Let's just say it's great. Oh, it's fantastic. That's so glad to hear you're having a great experience with that company. Let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question? Great. Well, my question, Maria, is if they're doing great things, what are the 3 things you feel that they're not giving you? Maybe the 3 things that they're not providing for you. So now, if I build trust with Maria, she's going to tell me, well, you know what? I wish the customer service would get back to me in 24 hours. I wish my emails would get responded quicker. Or maybe if they gave me free shipping. I'm just giving you those examples. But I just found 3 needs. So what do? I take those 3 needs and I come back and I say, well, that's too bad. Now, I wouldn't come back right away and say, well, we provide free shipping. You wouldn't want to do that. You say, well, you take those 3 needs that they're not getting from that company or that other provider, and you fulfill that need. You walk in and you fulfill that need by what? Giving. Exactly. That's how another company will get you yourself from another company to switch. You give first. Because what? It may be easier, maybe faster, whatever. You fill in the blank. You got all these thoughts running through your mind? Good. Create conviction and test the closing. Create conviction and test the closing. Now there are closing questions that you can ask your prospect. When are you looking to get started? What is your monthly marketing budget? If you were to take action on a property within the next 30 days, how much money could you put down? Compel is the next phase of selling. Compel is make it real and assume the sale. Make it real to them and assume the sale. Assume that it's already going to take place. If they're liking what they hear, and you've overcome the objections, assume the sale. They're just going to get started with you. It makes sense. It's obvious. Next is convert objections into commitments. Convert objections into commitments. Now literally there's only about 5 objections. Usually it's, I have no time, I have no money, my significant other, I have to talk about it with them,
Want to think it over?
want to think it over,
Have to do my research.
have to do my research. There's not many more than that. Really, there's only about 5 objections you're going to get. The most common are going to be, I don't have the money. That's your biggest objection all the time. I don't have the money, I don't have the time. You're going to get those. But guess what? Everybody has the money. You want a secret to selling? You want a secret to get your prospect to do anything? To make, it's they have the money. They have the money. To switch to your service, to get into your apartment, whatever it may be, they have the money. If you feel that you have to try to close them very hard and try to push them to do something, then you haven't done your work right up front. You have to do the giving part up front first, and then they will just naturally give you their money to say, wow, this is exactly what I need.